Hey, what's up you guys, it's Caboose bringing you another Gotham Knights video, and today what I got for you guys here is some more details from yet another interview. However, this time the interview is actually coming from PlayStation. There was a PlayStation blog that was put up that gives us a little more context on the gear system, as well as provides us some additional details about the Court of Owls. Now, before we get into everything, I wanted to ask you guys, of course, if at any point you enjoy this video, if you could consider leaving a like rating on it, it would show your support, and I would really appreciate it. So if you enjoy the video at any point, leaving a like rating would be awesome. And if you're new here and you're looking forward to Gotham Knights, well, I got you covered. I'm making videos on everything surrounding this game: news, updates, trailers, gameplay, my reactions, all that fun stuff. So if you'd like, you can subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell to be immediately notified when a video goes live. And with all that being said, well, let's jump into this. So just as I mentioned, there was another interview that was conducted with the folks at WB Montreal, but this time it was officially at PlayStation in a new PlayStation blog that was put up just a couple of days ago. And I'm sure you guys know the drill. If you want to read the entire article, it's going to be linked in the description. I'm not going to read every single thing top to bottom, just going to go over a couple of the questions and answers that were provided that caught my eye. The first thing that I wanted to go over is this piece from the PlayStation blog that goes over all the different characters' playstyles. Now, we've gotten some details before about how Red Hood kind of plays, and especially how Batgirl plays, but I wanted to go over this whole thing here because it gives us some additional details specifically on Nightwing. So the piece reads as follows: Red Hood is a brutal brawler with a focus on gunplay. Nightwing's acrobatics lead to a more exaggerated style of fighting, while the current Robin favors stealth and is a dab hand at using status effects to disrupt enemies. And in regards to Batgirl, she combines a laser-focused, targeted, and efficient melee fighter approach with a lot of resilience and the ability to weaponize her environment using hacking, and that is a direct quote coming from Patrick Redding. So that's cool. We get a little bit of insight there into how Nightwing will play in Gotham Knights, and you can kind of see a snippet of that in the actual reveal trailer for the game. And honestly, everything described here in regards to Red Hood, Robin, Nightwing, and Batgirl is all showcased in some way when it comes to the reveal trailer for Gotham Knights, or specifically in the gameplay demo for Batgirl. You know, that gunplay from Red Hood, or the stealth tactics from Robin, whether he's turning invisible, or just that stealth section that he has in the Batgirl demo, all of that is shown to us in some way. But now moving on, I wanted to point out another piece from this PlayStation blog that gives us just a little more details about the gear system in Gotham Knights. So it reads as follows: pick a hero and head out on your nighttime patrol, returning to the Belfry, the Knight's base of operations, at any time to tag in a different crime fighter. You're never forced to play a specific character. You can play through the entire game with one hero if you so wish, but each vigilante will have a unique ability tree and craftable gear with XP gains earned through open world activities. A majority of this we've heard before. We know the Belfry is your base of operations. We know that you go there to switch between the 4 different characters, but I think the new thing here, from what I understand, is that the gear is craftable. There's definitely some resources that you obtain in the game when you're taking down enemies. You can see that in the Batgirl demo, whether it's when Batgirl's taking down somebody or when Robin does that stealth takedown early on. So I'm assuming, based on this piece from the PlayStation blog, that that's going to help you craft gear. The thing that I'm wondering about, though, when I'm reading this is whether or not gear is only craftable. Like, is that going to be the only way to obtain new gear for any of the characters, or can I just obtain a gear piece from a mission reward, whether it's through side activities or through one of the main missions? All I'm saying is, if Patrick Redding or Fleur Marty wants to do one more interview about Gotham Knights, I got a couple of important questions I want to ask. Let's continue on, though, with the PlayStation blog. There's another thing I wanted to read for you here, and I'm just going to read it out for you. So it says here: on the subject of equipment, I ask about a certain visual treatment given to each hero visible in the reveal trailer. The neon-like coloring to all their weapons. Aesthetic only, or is there more to it? And Patrick Redding responds to this by saying, it's funny you brought that up, because it's a very important platform for us to deliver game information. And then he points to the gameplay walkthrough from Batgirl as an example. Some of those visual effects will tell you what damage type you have equipped on your weapons, so it's a way for the players to receive signs of feedback. That lets them know what protection they have, what they're going to use against their enemies, both in terms of ranged and melee attacks. This is very interesting, and I mean, I guess I subconsciously noticed that, yeah, every character has some sort of visual flourish to each of their weapons. Red Hood has the red neon, Batgirl has the yellow or the purple, we see some green in there for Robin's staff, and as it turns out, there is actually a specific reason that neon glow exists for each of the characters' weapons, and it's because there are different damage types in the game. So this is definitely another piece of the RPG element of this game. Now I'm just wondering how in-depth this will be when we get our hands on Gotham Knights. And now the last thing that I wanted to go over in this PlayStation blog article is in regards to the Court of Owls. There's a little more details about the game, as well as the official confirmation that they are going to be the main adversaries we face off against in Gotham Knights. So let's go over it. This piece of the article reads as follows. The creative director goes on to explain how the court's long history with the city and their inclusion as the main adversarial force made the studio look at Gotham, quote, as a historical place and influenced its design. Then another quote from Patrick Redding says, history is embedded in the architecture and bedrock, in the very foundations of every square of the city. So I'm not sure if this was ever confirmed before, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe this is the first time we got like an official confirmation that the Court of Owls are the main villains of the game, although we already kind of assumed that. And to continue with the PlayStation blog, it also mentions, and as much as the court is intrinsically tied to Gotham itself, the other villains you'll tax your crime-fighting skills won't operate in a bubble. They'll be a part of and imperil the city you're trying to protect. And Patrick Redding says, we want to make sure you feel all the work you're investing into protecting Gotham City, regardless of whether you're dealing with a small street gang on a corner somewhere or dealing with a major supervillain like Mr. Freeze. And then lastly, the article mentions that villain crimes will play out over multiple nights, which we knew about already. And then a final quote here from Patrick Redding says that a series of encounters where the player has to do a certain amount of legwork and detective work to hunt down the villain at the next major confrontation. Although it may be a fairly different team now than it was when Arkham Origins came out, we know that WB Montreal very much likes to play into the detective aspect of Batman. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing how they're going to progress that mechanic, the detective work of these characters within Gotham Knights. Hopefully it's a little more than just go here and scan that thing, then go there and scan that other thing. And now before we wrap up today's video, I wanted to showcase for you guys all the confirmed voice actors for Gotham Knights so far, including, yes, the person who's voicing Batman. So the voice of Batgirl is America Young, and they accompanied all the announcement with these images of the voice actor or actress alongside the character they're playing as. Then there's also the voice actor for Red Hood, which is Stephen O. Young, which by the way is Mr. Negative in Spider-Man PS4, so that's awesome. Then we got Christopher Sean as the voice of Nightwing, Sloan Morgan Seigel as the voice of Robin, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that name, and then Gilbert Jackson is the voice of Alfred, and this is actually the first time we get a nice close-up look at what Alfred's design will be like in Gotham Knights. But of course, the talk of the town, who's Batman? Who's the voice of Bruce Wayne at the beginning of that trailer? And they officially confirmed this on their Twitter page. Michael Tanakos is the voice of Batman, which they once again double down or triple down at this point on the fact that he's dead. And this is actually awesome because a long while ago when Michael Tanakos was the voice of Alexios in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I met him and he's an awesome person, was very kind to us, allowed us the opportunity to take a photo with him and just sit there and chat with him for a couple of minutes to talk about his performance as Alexios. And he's undoubtedly a talented voice actor, so I'm looking forward to seeing what his performance is going to be like in this game, and I'm hoping that it's a little more than just a message to the Bat family to let them know he died. But with all that said, I now want to kick it to you guys. Let me know your thoughts on all this in the comment section below. What do you think about some of the details provided in that PlayStation blog article, and what do you think about the voice cast for Gotham Knights? Sound off in the comments, and of course, if you enjoyed today's video, if you could consider leaving a like rating on it, it would show your support, and I would really appreciate it. I'm Caboose, and you can click on screen to make your way to one of the other videos on the channel, or you can click my logo to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Those links are going to be in the description. Drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a comment if you have an opinion, and subscribe if you're new. See you guys later.